Hello.
Hello.
Shane's on.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't give myself enough buffer. I didn't give myself enough buffer between my boys' game. These conference calls work better if you use some sort of headphones. I was trying to get my Bluetooth to work with my laptop, but it wasn't doing that. So, also, if you can mute your audio until you talk, best too for feedback. Okay. So we've got 19 on here, not too bad. How's everybody doing? Thumbs up. Cool. Hi, Sam. Kind of going through. See Tanner, Barnes, Nick, Rachel, Logan, Lucas, Elizabeth, the Hicks gang. So, all right. Let me go ahead and get started so that we can hang tight to the 30 minutes that I promised. And so let me set some timers here so that I can stay on task. So I want to start with just like logistics of Lake Country, maybe questions that you have, that sort of thing. I'm going to open up the chat bar so that you can also ask questions through the chat bar. If you kind of if you're new to this, I'm new to the hosting part, so hopefully some of these videos will work, or the share screen will work later on. But you can type in the chat on the side of the screen if you've got a question. But just a few things, kind of logistical things first. First of all, tournament is a week from this upcoming weekend, so just under 2 weeks away. I think probably most of you are signed up. Make sure that you are, because if you are not, then you will not get any assignments, because I will not check the box to make you active in the tournament. Last year I had people that said that they were available. I assigned them full schedule complement of games for 2 days, about 5 people, and then they let stuff auto decline. So that's why we're doing it this way. So we're gonna see how it works. So make sure you sign up. Make sure those around you sign up. Talk to your crews this weekend. Make sure they're signed up. I will get the schedule later this week, and then I will input that schedule so that you can start doing blocks, and that way you know if you're playing, coaching, etc. You can be able to put in the blocks, either the team block, or if you want to block a section of timeout for those games, 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, whatever. You can do it however you want. So so make sure you're signed up for the tournament and you're ready for the tournament. Hopefully we get good weather this year for the tournament. Jersey colors. I got a picture from last weekend with a yellow referee on a Magic game. What's wrong with that picture? They're both yellow, right? Like Magic's yellow, yellow referee. I understand that not everybody has all the colors and that sort of thing. So, so what if it happens that entire 3 people do not have green, do not have blue, whatever that is required to get different as a crew? Make sure the center, the referee, is different. I understand that will be 2 different colors amongst the referee crew, but that is better than having a yellow referee on a yellow game, a green referee on a green team. So make sure that the referee is different, and then the 2 ARs are the same color. Okay, that way we don't have 3 different colors out there. That's not what we want. So if you need to borrow colors, especially if you're on small-sided fields where you've got 2 crews right there, that works as well. So make sure that the referee is in different colors. PK spot on the small-sided fields. So on a big field, the PK spot is 12 yards away, right? The penalty area is 18 yards away. Those of you math majors out there, that is 2/3, right? That's 2/3 of the way to the top of the penalty area. Sometimes they don't mark the penalty kick spot on the small fields. So roughly about 2/3 to the top of the penalty area will be your penalty spot, right? So kind of eyeball it. It's fine. For the very smallest fields that has a goalkeeper, that's the 7v7 field. If you put it at the top of the penalty area, that's kind of where I've seen it placed. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. All right. So I know that coaches and fans kind of think it is, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. So make sure that just about 2/3 of the way to the top of the penalty area, that's where you put the ball. Actually, you hand the ball to the kicker and make sure they spot the ball. So any questions about the penalty, Mark? Thank you, Elizabeth, for giving that question. She had a couple of those questions. Can you all see my screen? Elizabeth, can you see see me?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. I've gone blank, so I don't know why that is, or what I see is kind of a yellow hint, or I think Rachel's screen comes up mostly. So anyway, I just and then rosters. Any questions about rosters? You can kind of type that into the chat as I talk about rosters. I think we've done much better with handling rosters on the fly. Try to put some okay, it is jumping back and forth from you to an orange screen. So I don't know. Rachel, I don't know if you mute your video or something. Maybe that will help. What happens with this Zoom program is that it goes to whoever's speaking. So if you mute your audio, that will help it not jump back and forth. So I think we've done better with rosters. I've received less on-the-spot questions or people calling me up about what roster questions and stuff, 5:30 for a 5:30 kick and everything. It's not that I don't want to answer those questions. I want to make it as easy as possible. I want to make it as easy as possible for you to solve those problems at the field, because every time you make a phone call to me or texting me or something, it slows down the process so that and it gets the game started later. And so make sure that the paper roster and then the player cards, what's the best situation, right, is that the players on the paper roster and then the players have a player's card. 1 out of 2, that's pretty good. That's proof that they belong there. We can handle that. If there is no evidence that that player is supposed to be on that field, they're not on the roster, they're not on the players' cards, be polite, be respectful, but you don't know who that player is, okay? And it's not fair to that other team that has done everything correctly administrative-wise to allow another player to play that you don't know belongs on that field, okay? So maybe it's a Division II game and they're a Division I player. Like, we would love to think that everybody is just out there to have fun and out there to play. Like, towards the end of the season, I get complaints that a middle school varsity is pulling down varsity players to middle school JV2. Like, come on, right? Like, really, is that really that important? So make sure that the players on the field are supposed to be on the field. I think we've done a good job of that this year. I want to handle any questions that we have there. We had a question this last weekend. We had a coach or we had a team with no coach with a card. That's a no. Futsal, indoor, they're not affiliated. That is what that is. Outdoor is affiliated. Coaches have to go through background checks just like we as referees do. And so it's vital that the coaches have a card and that they are licensed coaches. that allows us to know that they are supposed to be there as well. Again, be polite. I know you're telling the team that they cannot play, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that the coaches who are there, they belong there. They've been vetted by MISA. They've been background checked by MISA, and everything's A-okay for that coach to be there. And so if they have any questions, the team, can call John or Katie. They should have their numbers. It's not on me. It's not on you to call administration or track down administration. They know the rules. They know the roster rules. They know the players' cards rules. It's up to them to track down Katie or John or an Lake Country administration, not a concession stand worker, Lake Country administration, to verify a player, verify a coach. That is their responsibility and not ours. And so make sure that again, you're polite, you're respectful. Please call John. Please call Katie. We'd love for them to play. We'd love for you to play, to have a coach. But here, I don't know if they belong. So, no. Again, it goes back to the question was, can a coach start a game without a coach card? No. This goes back to the background check deal. And everything that coaches have to go through in order to be able to coach in a MISA USSF affiliated league and team. And so a player, yes, you can allow a player to play till halftime. And then if no evidence is there, then we can move on. But a coach, again, goes back to the background checks and et cetera. So again, be polite, but make sure that they are there. Amanda, I will get back to that question in just a little bit. Okay. So this was a private question as well, yelling coaches and et cetera. We will deal with that in a little bit later. Supplemental forms, I meant to print one out, but again, like I said, I was running in from bringing my kid back from practice. Supplemental reports, if you have a red card, if you have a coach or fan dismissal, or if you have a serious injury, a head injury that a player does not return from, or you have to call an ambulance for a broken leg, etc. So those three instances, a red card, no matter how simple the red card is, 2 yellows, dog show, etc., supplemental form, a fan or coach dismissal, and a serious injury, head injury that the player does not return from, or a broken leg, broken arm, serious injury like that. Sprained ankle, we're not worried about that, okay? We're talking serious injuries that we've got insurance and et cetera that will be involved in. Stick to the facts. I get supplemental reports that say, I don't believe that this coach should be coaching here. Well, that's great. That's not a fact, okay? That sort of thing. Stick with the facts. What did they say? Believe me, as a pastor, et cetera, there are things that I don't want to necessarily completely write out, but write down what they say. If you dismiss a coach, write what they say. No matter how uncomfortable it might be to write the words that they say, you write it. Because that way, when suspensions are handed down, the administration knows what happened. Yes, even if it's in Spanish, use Google Translate. Google Translate's your friend. Question, when we send out a fan, do we need to know the name of the fan or just note the team affiliation and let administration handle it? Yes, team affiliation, and then they will search out the team. All right. Do not bring more difficulty upon yourself than needed. Okay. So can you draw a picture if it's a finger used? Use emojis. All right. Use emojis and see what. what happens there. So, don't seek out a fan's name. Let administration track that down and figure that out. I've had a fan situation myself, and if you get distinguishing characteristics without being mean about it, then you can do that. But make sure that make sure you just don't chase down a name. Okay, don't make life more difficult on yourself. So, any other questions about supplementals? Please send those to me so that I can see those as well, so I know what's going on. And such. So corner kick subs, Mike Reed asked this question via email. Can an attacking team sub on corner kicks? Lake Country rules of competition say anything over the boundary line, they can sub on. Sometimes teams don't want to sub on attacking or defending corners. That's fine. Generally what we do is allow the attacking team on throw-ins, corners, to sub. So the team that's throwing it in, it's the team that's taking the corner. They're the one that initiates the sub. And then if the defending team also wants to sub, they can sub as well. Okay, got it? So if the defending team is the only one up there, we keep things flowing unless it's obvious like the ball's gone over the fence or something like that where you're not going to slow down the game to get the sub on, then get the sub on, all right? So let the kids play. And then switching sides on U7 and 8. Switch sides at half. Those are the games that play quarters. Switch sides at half. Ultimately, if you switch sides at quarters, who cares? If you don't switch sides at all, the wind isn't going to affect those kids. So, I mean, at the end of the day, those fields, whatever. But switch sides at half so that they kind of get used to playing half and half. So, come to find out, like the free account of Zoom, we only have 40 minutes. And so whenever the first one of you signed on, it started the time. So I've only got 6 minutes remaining. So any other questions about kind of logistics with Lake Country? So yes, no, Nate, I got an email about your game, so I was going to talk about it anyway. So okay, let's talk about person management. I'll skip down to person management here, and that deals with coaches, fans, players. Okay, so you have four tools in your toolbox in order to manage people: body language, voice, whistle, and cards. Of course, with coaches and fans, we can't use cards. Really, with coaches and fans, we have body language and we have voice. With coaches, fans, we have a general rule of thumb or general progression: ask, tell, remove, right? I ask you, you need to stop. I'm telling you, you need to stop or else I will dismiss you. You are dismissed, okay? Remember, when somebody is being aggressive towards you, if you are aggressive back, what do we now have? Two people that are aggressive towards each other. We have escalation, right? So what we want to do is de-escalate a situation. Bring them down. So if you go face-to-face or if you're yelling at a coach, that is only escalating a situation. A great tactic to use in talking to a coach, especially the first time you're talking to a coach, is actually stand side by side with them. I had this actually this past week in a game. Coach was coming up to talk to a referee afterwards in an animated manner. I ran shield screen in front, and then just kind of wrapped my arm around his back and kind of walked him away. Right? We were side by side. We were talking. That's non-confrontational. When we try to face up with somebody, that starts getting confrontational, more aggressive, or if we cross our arms or do things like that where our body language signifies that we are going to be the aggressors in the situation or we are going to be aggressive back, that's only going to escalate the situation. I know it's really easy. We all get there. We all get the sweaty palms, the excited nature. They're yelling at me. What do I do? And then then our blood starts boiling as well. Take a deep breath, slow down. How do you want that coach to be treating you? That fan to be treating you? Calm down, and then treat them the way that you would like to be treated, especially the first confrontation or the first situation. If it's across the field, okay, you have a couple of tactics. Okay, coach, I got you. When I come by close, I'll talk to you real quick, okay? All right? Maybe that'll buy you some time. When a throw-in is there close to the technical areas, tweet, hold on, come up to the coach, shoulder to shoulder, talk to him shoulder to shoulder privately and say, hey, what do you got? What do you want? You know, that sort of thing. And then see if you can work it out like that. See if that will calm him down, calm her down, and then you can proceed, and maybe that will be all that's needed. Hey, I saw him push, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's what I saw, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe that'll be enough to be able to that he'll settle down. You guys are together, and then maybe you don't see eye to eye, but maybe in treating them that way, maybe they will calm down. Then the second step, where they continue after that first interaction, you know, that's more of the ask or the tell situation, where you're going, hey, I've been over here once before. I've explained myself once before. This slows down the game when I have to keep explaining myself and keep handling you. So please, I need you to stop. All right. Next time you're going to be dismissed. And then the third time they keep going, or they've gotten personal or provocative, they're dismissed. Coach, I need you to go. All right. I need you to go. Unfortunately, I've got less than a minute. Here's what I'll do. Since I promised about 8:30, let me get out. It's not going to work to do that. I'll have to send out another email. So, is it acceptable to run over to them if you're near midfield or beyond? Yes, if you can do something really quick to be able to handle the situation right then and there, do it, okay? In a college game, I stop the clock and I walk over to them. All right, draw all the attention over to the coach. You can't stop the clock. You kind of got a running clock. You want the players to play. Do it in a situation where you're close, where it becomes close. And if it's across the field, like I said, if you go, hey, coach, I'll love to talk to you. When a throw-in comes over there, let me talk to you. Okay, that way you're not yelling back aggressively, and you're saying, I will talk to you. It just can't be right this minute. Okay, let's try and treat coaches as respectfully as possible. I understand that they don't always treat us respectfully, but at the same time, all the pressure is on us, because ultimately they're the ones that end up sending the emails and etc. Okay, and like, man, why don't they do something about these coaches? Well, until we dismiss them, they won't get suspended. Now, I'm not saying dismiss them right off the bat and dismiss them for nothing and be aggressive for nothing and etc. Go through the steps.